Dear God, today as the session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we grant to this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Please honor our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilor Mendonca?
Here.
Councilor Mercia?
Here.
Mayor Murphy?
Here.
Councilor Noon?
Here.
Councilor Elliott? Councilor Kennedy?
Here.
Councilor Leahy? Councilor Laurie?
Here.
Councilor Martin?
Here.
7 present, 2 absent.
Thank you. We have the special meeting notice. Notice is hereby given as required by Rule 6 of the City of Lowell City Council rules. The Lowell City Council will hold a special meeting of the Lowell City Council in the council chambers on Tuesday, January 29, 2013 at 5:30 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss matters pertaining to the city clerk's office, including, but not necessarily limited to, the state ethics update. Per Councilor Elliott's motion, request the city manager, city clerk report on the status of the ethics training requirement for 2012, and also the record retention and scanning update of vital records. At this point, I'd turn it over to the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you on behalf of myself and my assistant Angela Gitchia for having us here tonight. Sticking with the agenda that's been passed out to you, I believe I'll just kind of briefly get into the state ethics update that was on the floor a couple of meetings ago. 2012 was kind of a quirky year for the Ethics Commission. They've been trying to roll out the new program for your municipal employees for close to 9 months. All throughout 2012, I've been monitoring the commission and seeing where they're going with the directive and where they're going with the new program. And finally, they've rolled it out in December. They've given, and I have that in your packet. You'll have that the notice that was sent by Mr. Giannotti, who's the head down there, setting out that the 2012 deadline would be for April 5th, 2013, for the ethics municipal part of it. There's two elements to it. The first is the taking of the training online, and the second part is just the receipt of the basic breakdown of the statute and the laws that are involved. And what they have done is instead of having our employees, and again, we're formulating the plan to break this out to every individual employee of the city, probably within a week to 10 days, we'll have a broadcast of the basic instructions about the requirement that is per the law, the instructions about how each employee should go forward and get the training and get the certificates that are needed back to the clerk's office so that we retain them for a period of time and they're available to the commission if they so choose to look at it. What happens in the state, we are not going on the state website. What the state has been able to do is they can implement a learning system that the city of Lowell was able to take and put on our website, and MIS has done that through the Moodle training element of it. So it's up and it's on the website now, and each individual, it's a self-registering program, so each individual employee can go in there, register, and they have the basic elements that you have to take, including the online ethics training and the requirement that you pass out the summary of the law yearly to them. The online training is every 2 years. Again, the compliance date for all this is April 2013 because the state just couldn't get it out in time. There were some bugs that were involved with it, and now they have it out. There are, from my understanding, some little quirks that are involved on the state level. I don't think that's going to happen on the city side based on the element that we have put in place. So those are available now. That is on the learning management system of the city. And in a short time, I'll be broadcasting an instruction sheet to all the employees of the city, outlining what their responsibility is in accordance with the law and how to go about registering with the operation. And again, it's pretty self-explanatory when you get on the system, how to self-register. And at that point, they can go through the training, and it would automatically generate that they have received the training, that they have received the summary of the law for the ethics part of it. And also, in addition, the open meeting law requirements are on that Moodle system as well, and the learning management system as well. So they'll be able to track that as well through that learning management system. And once I send out that broadcast, I think there'll be 3 elements of it. Again, the statutory requirement that each employee has to do it. How to register on that Moodle system, and the fact that the certificate should automatically be sent back to me. A good feature of the learning management system in the city is the ability for us to take a look at that at one point and say, okay, who hasn't taken it? And at that point, we can tell through a report of the individuals that we've sent it to that have not taken it, and we can generate an email to all of them saying, hey, your responsibility is this, and maybe some type of backup to the department heads to make sure each employee gets involved in it and does it. The clerk's obligation on the statute is just to get that information out, but I think the best management practice is at one point at least give them a reminder that things have to be done here in accordance with the law, in accordance with Massachusetts law, and so the point is well driven. Some individuals don't have access to computers in the city, some employees, and I think that part of the directive would be on the department heads to make sure if an individual does not have access, that we have to provide somewhere to have access with it, either in City Hall or wherever we can provide it, maybe the training room through MIS, and just to get them online and to get them up and going with the training session. So that's kind of where we are. For the conflict of interest, like I said, 2012 was just a growing year for the commission, and it gave us some time to think about it, and now it's here, and we're ready to implement on it.
Thank you. Council Lowry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I start, there's only 3 officers that work for this council, and one, of course, is the clerks. And we have City Clerk Michael Geary and the Assistant Clerk Angela Gitchie here. And I'd just like to say publicly, every time I deal with your office, your staff does an incredible job. I had to stop down there before I came in. There's a vote coming up tonight, and I wanted to put down I was on a certain board, and many of us are on boards and things like that. And between the law department and the clerk's office, you always extend the courtesies to at least the councilors. I'm sure the boards with the information we need to keep in compliance. And the question I had going forward on the online training, one is not everyone has a computer. 2, not everyone knows how to use a computer. And would there be some type of help for the employees?
Absolutely. I think there's just an element there that we'll include in the broadcast saying, listen, if you're having an issue, contact me, and we can take whatever steps is necessary to get that person involved in getting the training and going through it with them.
They could set up the course for them, and they could take it and get the...
Yeah, that Moodle is, that learning management system of the city is I've been on it. It's a good system. It's pretty self-explanatory and easy to navigate through. And it's got everything there.
I'm sure once they get into the program, they're fine. But that was my really the only question I have. And I want to thank you for the work that you did. This came out in 2012, I believe, but your office kept us up to date with the changes, and that it really wouldn't be mandated till probably the end of April anyway of this year.
Yeah,
and
beginning
I
of
want to
April.
thank you.
Yeah. And again, the state they were ready to go with this thing, I think, back in March of 2012, and it had some bugs. It just couldn't get implemented on that level. So again, I monitored it closely, and this is the record that came down. And now it's time for us to move, and we're ready in a position to do it. And like I said, probably 7 to 10 days, we'll have the broadcast out there. And again, I got to stress it's really the responsibility of the employees to heed the instruction and to move forward on it. I think a certain part of my broadcast element will maybe a directive a little bit from wording some way from the council and as well as the city manager, just to stress the importance of the fact that the employees, it's their obligation to do it. My obligation is to get it to them. It's their obligation to take it.
My guess is that there's a lot of officers here, they can take it right at work.
Absolutely.
But for people who work on the road, DPW, Police, Parks and Recreation, maybe we could set up a program with their managers that they could come in or go to an office, maybe their own, or maybe here to take the test. And that way, the labor situation wouldn't be hindered. The department would be sending their employees as they can.
I think the department heads will probably garner some responsibility on here, just to make sure that, people are provided if they're having trouble with it, just so they're notified and there's resolutions to it, but the department heads would have to be kind of helpful in that area as well.
And making time for them to take the test.
Yeah, a test is I think it's probably an hour's time to go through all the training and the like. The response, the queries to the commission was that kind of a long time, and their attitude is they believe it's too short a time for the importance of the training involved.
You send a list of all the employees to the department head who don't have the computers and the date, and they can once a week or twice a week send people over and wherever they need to be, but at least we'll be in compliance. Thank you for your help with this.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Mercy and then Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city clerk. When you say city employees, Mr. City Clerk, do you mean school committee personnel as well?
Yeah, they'd be part of it. The statute lays out a definition of what a municipal employee is, and they'd be part of it. Things that probably aren't required, people who aren't required to take it, summer help, substitute teachers, people that aren't really involved with making decisions in terms of governmental decisions.
And that
there are some exceptions to people
and that
taking it.
includes board members and commission members?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what happens if someone decides they don't want to take it? What happens then?
Yeah.
Or they say, I don't care, I'm not taking that.
Well,
Two reports that I've included is one that will say training completed, and the other one is ethics summary acknowledgement. What seems to be happening is there's 215 acknowledgements currently that we log into the Munis system right now, but only 69 of those employees have actually completed the training. So a lot of them are acknowledging that they received the information regarding conflict of interest, but not following through. And that's just out of the 215 employees that have gone to either personnel and received, the packet, or received a packet through us.
And that includes the council here.
yeah, it includes all. Again, that's the 2012 number. It's kind of it's not a really solid number because of what's been happening with the commission. I think we'll get a much better picture of where the compliance is, obviously, probably, halfway through 2013.
So I took it in 2012. Do I have to take it in 2013 again?
You would not. The people that took it, take it, don't have an obligation to take it again. They're covered by it, but it doesn't mean you'll probably not get another email, because I'm going to blast the email to everybody.
That's fine, thank you.
All right.
Councilor Noon and then Councilor Mendoza.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to the city clerk, you said that every employee, a municipal employee, must register with the system. Is that a PACE system that we have, or a different
It's
system
not
now?
the PACE, Counselor. It's called Moodle.
Moodle.
Yeah, it's a learning management system that MIS has put on the city website, and it's up and running now. And there's different aspects that you can, like there's different elements you can. The elements that concern me are the ethics and the open meeting law requirements. But there's like Windows 7 on there, all different things you can learn about on that system. That's kind of spelled out for you. And it's not a PACE system. It's called a Moodle system. I wasn't familiar with it until I discussed it with MIS, and it's kind of like, and I wasn't familiar with these either. It's called Blackboard in the colleges and stuff, where it's interactive classrooms basically, and that's kind of what this is. You go on there and you're just able to navigate it through and get you where you want to get. I've done it, and if I can do it, I believe.
So you said you planned to set up a space at the MIS to help those who does not have
Yeah, I think
email?
there's a training room there. I'd have to coordinate with MIS for people that don't have access to different computers. And I don't think that'll be an issue, just coordinating some time and space for individuals. I don't know what that number is. I suspect it's not extremely large, but we can accommodate.
So help will be available for those who doesn't have email and/or doesn't know how to access the
Yeah,
system.
help will be available. The important element is that if we can't get to them by the broadcast, that the department heads will have the responsibility to make sure that, either have them call me or set up something that we can get them access to what they need, the tools to take it.
You have to register every 2 years, is that?
Every 2 years for the online training, and it's every year that a summary of the basic law is sent out.
Right, right. What, if any, penalty for those who's not comply?
Penalties range from, fines to open meeting law. They range from fines to training, more implementation of training. I think more than likely, and I can't really speak on their behalf, it'll probably be more intensive training for an individual that doesn't take it. I think what the tool probably is from the state's point of view is if there was an issue, the state would want to know down here, X, Y, and Z has an issue with the city of Lowell, employee X, Y, and Z. They'd want information about, did they get the information about the ethics, and did they take it? I think that's more the state's interest in it.
Is this the first year, though, that would be really, really aggressive in doing this, or has it been done before?
I don't know if it's aggression's the right word. This is, the test has changed. So the element before is different. It's a different approach that we have to take. The test has changed. Prior to this year, it was done on the state system. But now it's on our system. It's on a learning management system. So I think it's a different element, and I think it's an element that's going to be more productive in the best management case, from my point of view, anyway.
For those who work for another municipality or the state who's already took the test or going to take the test in the upcoming week or so, do not have to take here. They only have to take once test. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
If they've taken the test in 2012, they don't have to take it in 2013.
Right.
From a tracking element, though, it'll be a little bit more difficult for us because we'll be able to track it at our learning management system, but, I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of people that are in that situation, but we have a report that shows who's taken it in 2012 anyway, so we'll have to match up the two reports and find out if there's any overlap. But if you take it in the 2012, you don't have a requirement to take it in 2000, the latest one coming up.
So if you took the test with the state and you get a receipt and all you have to do is just bring it to the clerk.
All the receipts have to go to my office,
Right,
yes.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Donson.
Related to the new testing process, some board members and council members don't have offices at City Hall, computers. Would we be able to do it from the web and that you'd still get the tracking information you need?
There's ability to access like I said, it's Moodle's training and there's ability to get onto Lowell's site.
All right, so
You don't have to have a city computer.
we would just have to have some kind of ID and password to...
Exactly. It's a self-registering system, and that's exactly
Yeah,
how it is.
okay, so then once we took that exam, you'd have a record that it was completed.
Yeah, it'll
So-
generate that record directly to the system, and as I have credentials to get on there to generate reports and the like. And again, one of the reports is people that haven't taken it. There's an element there that I can just hit a button and send a general email to all the non-takers and just kind of remind them of the importance of it.
I know we had over 75 board members that may have to be able to do it from home or would be more convenient, so that's certainly going to be an asset to them
Yeah,
if they
it
can
is.
do it over the web.
It is, and the challenge too is tracking that as well because they're outside the city, but that's just a thing we'll track and we'll do a good job at.
Yeah, I guess the other question is, I know Councilor Noon referred to it, if somebody's involved in another agency that requires, state agency that requires the testing, and they take it there, is there any way that you can get other than getting some kind of receipt and bring it physically to your office, or?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll generate a receipt for you.
Okay. So with that receipt, they just bring that in, or can't do it electronically from the other system, or is there a master system?
There's electronically from the other system, learning management system.
Is there a way while you're taking the test where you specify, send it to such and such, or?
Yeah, there is. If
Okay.
there's an instruction that says, do you want to print the one? And that'll be part of my general instructions. You print no, and then it electronically gets sent to the clerk.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Martin.
Thank you. I can appreciate the state's had some issues with the online version of this test, but I'm still concerned about the tracking of who took it, who didn't, and I'm having a hard time reconciling just these reports we have tonight. So we had this one, right, which just says Open Meeting Law Ethics Monthly Report.
Yeah, I think that's boards and commissions.
Oh, all right, so that's just boards and commissions?
Is that the one? Yeah.
Okay. So what's the open meeting law certificate of receipt?
That's just that's a receipt that they sign saying they've got the general guidelines, they've got the regulations, and they got the statute.
All right, and the mayor distributed not that long ago to all of us a similar, that same packet, right?
Yes.
So we all signed and acknowledged receipt and got those back. Are we in the 77?
Yes, you would be.
We are?
Yep.
Okay. So this report is really just for people that don't work at City Hall?
No, this report is just for the boards and commission members. This is for the packets that we've been doing with the previous acting clerk and then Mr. Gary, the packets that have been going out to all the new boards, new or reappointed board and commission members. We sent out 77, and that was the latter part of 2011 and all of 2012.
And most of them, some boards and commissioners do work for the city, most don't.
Right.
So that they're outside the city building. And what we usually do is the day they get appointed, we put the packet together for them and send it out to them, and they come in to get the oath. They usually have the packet there signed, and they return it back.
Okay. So the packets that go out are just what you just described. So you sent out 77 and only 54 came back?
54 completed the certificate for the OML.
Right.
The ethics acknowledgement, only 15 came back out of the 77. And out of the training, only 8 came back out of the boards and commission members.
Okay, so,
These right now are logged into, any of these that are there, the certificates are viewable through the Munis system, because that was our way of tracking it for 2012. If the certificate comes in, they're scanned and they're uploaded to the Munis employee folder.
okay. And
So yes, not a big,
so we have some work to do there.
Yeah.
I mean, we provide it to them. If they don't get it back to us, it's,
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the element of this new Learning Management System Council is again, 2012 is a kind of a tough year because of the fact that the state wasn't really looking for them.
Right.
But now, if these are on that learning management system in the city, and so we'll probably generate another round to the individuals, even though they've complied. Some of them have.
Well, yeah, so that's doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy either, because if I already did it, now I'm getting a notice that I didn't do it, and I said, geez, I thought I did that. I'm questioning whether the record exists that you have it.
just
Yeah.
as a note, to my understanding, if you do not register again under the new learning management system, you will not be tracked in this new round.
Yeah, you have to be
To-
in the system to track.
Yeah,
That's
to
why.
Counselor Nunn, if you did it at a different state agency and you don't register on the city site for the LMS, it won't be tracked as part of the report.
All right.
You will have done it, it just won't be.
And I may, correct me, I understand I'm having the warm fuzzy feeling,
Yeah.
but I think from my perspective in tracking it, I want to get everybody in that learning management system.
So even if you did take it, and we gave you a paper record, which was all we could have done at the time,
Yeah.
probably, we're not going to be tracked in here
Well,
if you don't do it again.
Well, again, if, like I said, if there's I'll have to cross-check when I take the report to see people that haven't done it, cross-check that report with the individuals that did it in 2012. Though the requirement was they didn't have to do it, they could do it if they wanted to. So I'll cross-reference that, and then you're in that system anyway, then the next round we can,
All right. So you can do that, because that's only 77 people on boards and commissions, right? But then when you go over to the full-time employees, there's thousands, right?
There's approximately 4,600.
Yeah. And of that, we've only got a small number, right?
And the majority of these are probably new hires or seasonal employees, because no broadcast had gone out to any employees since 2009.
and again, that 2012, I was ready to send the broadcast, but the state wasn't ready to do it, so I had to wait for that directive. That's why I think, the 2012 numbers, as you look, aren't going to be very impressive because of that fact. But so I think I'll get a better idea about who's going to comply and how we're going to, what the percentage is when everybody's on that new learning management system.
So is part of the problem here that if I got appointed to a commission in September, and I got this notice that I have to go take this test, and I go look for it on the website, was it not there, not up and running yet?
If you took it right in September, this just got here at the end of December. The new one just got on the website at the end of December.
Right.
The old one got taken down, I like to say a month beforehand. So if you did it like September, October for 2012, you'd have to generate that written one for me, for my record, that your compliance, and then you wouldn't have to comply for another 2 years.
All right. So you could take it all through the year. It's not that this test was not available to people.
For a short time, I don't think the test was available. I think they took the old test down. When they put the new test in, there was a little lag time there, but not that long, so it was.
So that's not a reason for a significant amount of non-compliance, right? I guess it's possible people took the test and just didn't send in the
I went by a
notice.
directive that the Ethics Commission told me to hold off until they kind of got, because they were in I think, a lot of flux up there, and I don't know if I didn't send out the directive to tell them to take it 2012 because I was waiting for direction for the state, and now this is basically your 2012. You're up. You got to take it again.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate all the challenges with this. I'm not trying to be critical. I just want to understand, because if the state hasn't been expecting it until now, then that's fine.
Oh, they have not, and I've got emails crossing back and forth
Right.
with Mr. Giamatti,
But they are going to start expecting it for 2013.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
So this needs to be something that we get significant
Yeah,
compliance on.
I'd be interested to see what the compliance is. Like I said, the obligation for me is to get it out there and, and track it. So there might be a situation where we'll have to discuss some type of strategy in terms of upping our compliance. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Are you responsible to track the school department employees too?
Also, yeah, city employees.
So that's...
Got to go on both sides.
Yeah, so there's going to be, quite a bit of education to be done in the school department too, I would think, with this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Kennedy and Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When you say a broadcast, does that mean like an email blast? Is that what you're
Email
talking
blast,
about?
Yeah.
So if there are people that don't have access to a computer, they're not going to get that broadcast, are they?
That's where I say the importance. I'm going to have within that broadcast instructions to the department head saying, if one of your employees doesn't have access to computer, it's your responsibility. You have to get him the information that's provided. They can print it out and give it to him, and then there's got to be some type of action that we have to take to get him in front of a computer.
Is it difficult to put a notice in with checks or to have something that would complement the broadcast so that we would be sure that we got to everybody?
I don't know really the procedure to put the notice in and check. I think the vast majority of employees now may have direct deposit, but they still generate a paper check. So I could look into I don't think there's such a thing as overkill, Counselor, in this situation, so.
Right. Well, I mean, it sounds like there's going to be quite a few people that are going to slip through the cracks when do you think that broadcast, when are you planning on doing that?
Probably within a week's time.
Okay. So it sounds like that there's still going to be a lot of people that aren't going to get that. And so how do you reach them?
I offhand, I don't know if I don't know who does not have access to a computer as employees. I don't know that number. But like I said, if there's an Eller element, everybody gets the check. I assume, even though, I assume they mail out the drafts that say you're getting, the money's been deposited into your account, sending it out like that.
Okay.
But the checks, they come in, they're not really something you can stuff a notice in on. It's more,
No, but maybe they could print it. I mean, I don't know, maybe, I'm just throwing it out as an
Yeah.
idea. Maybe that doesn't work.
there might be some type of, like I said, the only thing I could think of offhand while thinking of it is just a directive to the department heads to make sure that people without access to computers have the ability to read that and take action.
Okay, and the only other thing that I wanted to ask about was the handout on the marriage
Yeah.
licenses. Excuse me, these are what's been scanned?
Yeah, Angela can answer that.
Yes, Counselor.
All right, at the very top, it says that, is everything from 2005 to 2012 been done? Is that, everything's been scanned?
Correct.
Is that, okay,
Scanned, correct, and entered.
okay. And so, when the years are listed individually, like 2006, why would that be listed down here?
Because part of it was done and the rest of it was not. Like part of the, all of the entering is done from 2000 to the present is added in, like as they come in. Birth records, marriage records, death records. Prior to 2000, we didn't have a vital system that we were using. So prior to that, they were all typed. So if you were born between 1950 and the present, as you come into the office, they're added into the computer as you're there, if it's not already in there. So what we're doing is if you see 2000, 2001, those were entered into the computer, but none of them was scanned. None of the documents were physically scanned.
Okay. All right, so 2006, it says marriage record scanned 752.
Yep.
Does that mean there's others that,
No, that means that's the total for that year.
okay,
Those are totals for the year that completed the year.
so that means the year's complete. Okay, but
Correct.
2005 is missing from this.
Right, because it was previously started by an employee and then finished off by one of the interns that we had.
Okay, and at this point, are we depending on interns to complete this project? Is that how that's,
I think there should be an initiation of a discussion of maybe getting a vendor to do that, maybe putting together an RFP to kind of get some pricing on it as well. Still, with the vendor, there's still a lot of work to be done in our office in terms of training them how to put the record together to scan it. But I think there might be a discussion according to having an outside vendor just do the scanning element of it.
and is that because, is the intern thing not working out that well?
No, it's working out great. But I think it'll probably, if you bring a third-party vendor in there, I think it'll get done a lot quicker.
Okay. When do you anticipate it would be done without the third party?
That's hard to make an estimate on it because the interns aren't always available. We've had a streak elect for the last year, but they're not always going to be there. We've had this space as well. I couldn't.
Would it
I
take,
mean, it all depends how far back you want to go on the scanning.
The reason we concentrated on the marriage part is because we did 3 years of births, which you had in the previous report. I think it was 58, 59, and 1960. It took several employees in the office and several man-hours to put the records together for them to actually scan and enter in the data. To concentrate on 1 year was not as productive as doing them as people came in, check the system. If the birth information wasn't in there, pull the original, type the information in, but none of those records were ever scanned.
okay,
So what we did was, we made sure 1958, 59, and 60 were completed. meaning all the data was entered and all those records were scanned. But you have to remember, each birth year, there's probably 4,600 births. That's just a high number. All those books have to be, the binding has to be broken. You have to attach the affidavits with these records. There's a lot of work that goes into scanning births. We went to the marriages only because it takes employees in our office to put the records together for them to actually, it would be more beneficial to do more births than it is marriages, but we had the interns, we had the help, so we decided to concentrate on an area that didn't take as much time to prepare to get them scanned and entered.
Okay, so there are some years that you have, that are partially done, or at least part of the process is complete, but part of it's not complete, is that right?
On which?
On marriages, or on births, either one.
Yeah. Anything, birth, marriage, or death from the year 1990 to the present should be all entered into the computer already. We've been doing that since 1990. None of those records were scanned.
Okay,
So we have, I don't even know how many years scanned of the births already. But it was the older ones that were in disrepair that we wanted to get logged into the computer, because once we lose those indexes, we can't find the record because we don't know what the registration number is or what the page number was. Because those are the books that the previous acting clerk was saying that were in disrepair. They were index books that tell us what the registration number is and what page number.
okay, all right, thanks.
And an element towards the scanning, we're going to be purchasing 2 new scanners for individuals, so each clerk will have a scanner, and now they'll be able to scan as it comes in, so going forward, there won't be any issue with that. Scanning's a big, the old records is a big challenge, and again, I think I've got to put a little thought into a vendor doing it. I have a lot of brochures that I've been kind of going through initially. The difficult part of the births is as Angela mentioned, is you got to break up the books. But if you have a birth in 1958, you've got to check 58 all the way up in the old system for any affidavits that were put on. The affidavit was not attached to the original birth certificate, which is the way they filed. So you've got to make sure that there's no affidavit for a 1958 birth that was put on in 1995 or whenever. So that's a lot of time, and that's what I think. And I'm sure there's vendors that know how to do that and know the responsibility of it. That's the challenge. That's why it takes a little bit longer.
Thank you. Council Mercia, and then Council Lowry. And then
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city clerk. Just for a point of information, it's just a suggestion that in the senior center, we have about 15 computers in there. So if you take a group of 15 up there to the senior center and you can log them all in, maybe you could train them 15 at a time or something.
Yeah, the state allows that ability for a group training as well. So that's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know they had all those resources up there.
Councilor Lowry, and then Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On a point of interest with the records, the marriage and birth certificates, I know birth certificates are a little different. You have to get the original certificate to scan with the book, don't you?
I'm not following you.
When you do birth, they do take longer than the marriage licenses.
Well, see, the hospital generates the birth record.
Right.
From 1990 till 2011, it was on one system. The hospital would send us batches through the mail. From 2011 on is a VIP system, which is a new system the state is running, so everything is done electronically, which they've had a lot of problems with. So,
Yeah, the state, 2011, the state, you're on the VIP system. The state generates that. It's had some quirks in it, and that's the difficulty, because if it's down, then we're kind of hamstrung on it, and, we have a good rapport with that department, I think. And, they move it as quick as they can. An element coming out of that, as well as they're going to try to centralize the death records. Originally was supposed to be out now. The next target date was January of 2014, with the caveat that says if there's funding in 2013. And personally, I don't believe there will be funding in 2013, but that's, again, I'm monitoring that as well on the state level.
The other question I had, when we met last year, I know I talked to one of the assistant town managers, was actually Tommy Hickey from Lowell. He's down in Burlington. And Burlington is Burlington. They actually have someone who does records only. Trying to think of the name. Archivist. And Tommy said to give him a call. Were you able to give him a call?
I spoke to Mr. Hickey down there. I haven't had an opportunity to get together with that individual. I forget his name, but he's kind of the, I guess, the Dalai Lama of archivists in the clerk world. You know, space is an issue here, so that's an element I want to kind of talk to him about. Space is a major issue here. It's another hurdle that's a constant challenge in terms of where to put these records. There's a lot of literally safes in this building that are kind of, the different departments are kind of territorial about them. It's another element that we've really got to look at and focus on in terms of getting these vital records in a place that's conducive for per state requirements. And I don't think that we're all there yet, but it's a challenge that we're aware of and we're just moving forward on. So that's one part of it. Second part is just the scanning element, but the archivist is.
I appreciate you reaching out to him, and I appreciate Mr. Hickey making the offer. Not many cities and towns can afford an archivist, and they do have one. As far as getting all the employees in to take this test, I think it would be a good idea. I know the city manager has a meeting every week with the department heads, and that we ask him to work with the department heads to make time for the, I don't think this should be thrown all on your shoulders. And the reason is, I know it's your responsibility as a clerk, but you have absolutely no control over the time of other employees.
Yeah, the responsibility is for me to get the information. I think from a compliance point of view, I think you're correct, Counselor. And a directive coming from you, the bosses, or from the city manager, most of the city's boss as well, directed from the council to the employees, some way worded, that it's not just coming from a lowly clerk, would have a little bit more weight in terms of compliance.
That's a lot of responsibility to be thrown on you and your office, especially when you don't have control of the time of the other employees. So I know as a counselor, I'll ask the city manager to work with your office, or at least ask the department heads to work with your office to make time for the employees to come in to take the test, or somehow at least have it done.
Yeah.
You know, that's something you can't do on your own. And I think
and assisting in, if they can't get the information, to get them the information.
I think it's imperative on this body to relay that to the city manager. I know I will, that if we could at least ask the department heads to work with you and make your job a little bit easier in that regard.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know we've been through this in the past, but if you could just help me again. So from 1990 forward, we have all the index information electronically. Okay, and then from 1989 back, is it all still books?
Yes, but when they come in, if somebody comes in who was born in 1950,
Yeah.
we check the computer, the employees will check the computer. If they're not in there, they will go find the original, pull the original out, go to the computer and hand type the information in and be able to produce a certified copy. The reason we picked 1950 is because 1950 to the present is currently what we can hold in our safe.
Okay, so,
We don't have the ability to store 1826 to the present in one safe.
all right. So the 1950, if you come, anyone from 1950 forward might be indexed if they've
Correct.
had some activity in the office. So,
Quite honestly, that's the way that we found to be most productive, because as people come in, we check. If they're not in there, we get the indexed information into the computer to be able to produce a certified copy. Are those records scanned? No, but we have the ability to print out a certified copy.
Okay, because the information is in there.
Correct.
In the index. And now, the books that are in disrepair, those are index books?
Correct.
Are there any actual certificate books? We don't really have certificates back
No, and
then.
I sent an email to the state, and I contacted the state about these books. Some cities and towns still have them from previous clerks. That's how they index them. They basically gave it, the page number basically means nothing. It's a page in this index. The registration number is what is needed for a record, for a passport or anything else. So she said the index, she don't want to say they're not a state thing. It's what a city or town adopted at that particular time, how they logged them so that they weren't constantly pulling original records.
Okay,
They were typed from these books.
right, okay. And, I mean, are they, I know you did those 3 years that must have been really badly damaged. Was that why those?
The indexes were badly damaged to the point that if somebody came in and we'd, half the page would be ripped, you couldn't tell what the file number was, so it would be, you'd have to look through the entire year for that one record.
So were those the worst years?
There's a lot,
There's a lot more
yeah.
that are in tough shape?
I'm currently working on 1964, because that seems to be 64 through 66. There seems to be 3 years approximately to each index, give or take.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Council Noon.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you approximate how many records that need to be scanned? The birth certificate, death certificate, marriage certificate, and all that?
I mean, it goes back to the
1826 to the
1826
present,
forward. I mean,
so-
you kind of, where do you want to start?
And how-
Situation.
Roughly have 4,000 marriages, between 800 in each year, and deaths,
With-
maybe the very most 3,000, so that's for each year, from
With-
1826 to the present.
With-
It's a lot of scanning.
With so many records to be scanned, how many scanners do we have now?
2,
2 scanners.
yeah.
And are you looking to get some more?
Yeah, there's 2 more coming in,
Okay.
probably within a week's time.
And the number of interns we have at this time, how many interns from the career center?
Yes.
We had 3 the first round, and we just picked up 3 new ones, and then a 4th one started in December.
Do we, definitely you're going to need more intern, more help there. Do you reach out to others, institutions, Middlesex, UMass Lowell, and elsewhere?
Yeah, the Career Center's been really good to us. We're going to continue there, but there's other avenues that we search out on. I think the element is we're going to keep with the interns until we develop some type of a consensus on where we want to go in terms of an RFP. Again, I've got a lot of information. I just kind of get it. I'm just digesting it right now to kind of figure out how to approach it.
Okay.
And the cost of it as well.
Thank you for doing the most difficult job to try to get everything up to computerized.
No,
Thank you.
It's a good job. I like it, and I have a lot of help, so.
Thank you. Councilman Dunson.
Sticking with vital records, do you have any kind of spreadsheet or some way of tracking what's been entered, what's been scanned, et cetera?
I can print you out one.
Well, I'm not necessarily wanting one right away, but I'm thinking as we prepare for this RFP, then we should probably share that with the council, what the current status is at that time.
Do you want entered or scanned? Do you want them separate?
Well, they
Because
should
from
prob-
1990 to the current would be all entered, just not scanned.
Yeah, well, if it's anything that we're going to need to do in the future, we'll need to know which ones are done versus which years are not. So I don't know if you had some kind of, I don't want you to create something new for this, so try to use what you have already. But if you have anything where you have for each year how many is scanned and entered, so we maybe have an idea how many are left to do, or if the entire year's left to do, and you have, like here, you have all these that you know how many are the total for the year. We'll probably need those numbers to, or whoever's going to respond to an RFP, to know how many records they're dealing with.
On that report that I gave you, the scan number are records that have already been entered. They've been entered by the employees with the city, but they weren't scanned. So the interns that are there here now basically scan, that's the total amount for each year.
That is
So
the
those
total.
years are completed, being scanned and entered.
Okay. Another question, you mentioned affidavits, and just, I'm not sure what that means, so is an affidavit an amendment to a birth record, or is that a registration of a
Basically
new-
changing a birth record, Counsel.
So it is a change?
It is a change.
Okay.
Back in 1950 or 1940, they just weren't connected to the original record. They were put in, say if you had an affidavit in 1995 for a 1920 birth, things are found out in the course of your life, I guess, that needs change, and you can do it if it's properly done and there's a procedure in the affidavit. The issue was it's not attached to the original, and you have to scan it up every year to make sure that you get the...
Amendments are capped by the year in which they were produced. So if you did an amendment in 2000 for a birth record in 1950, the amendments are filed with the 2000s, that's when you did the amendment. So while I'm working on 1964, I have to do from 1964, check every affidavit box from 1964 to the present to make sure no affidavit was done on each record.
Yeah, I
That's
could-
the time-consuming part.
Okay. So if somebody had a middle name that was incorrect on the original birth
Correct.
record, they would file an affidavit?
Yeah.
And then, in order to pick that up, you'd have to find that affidavit.
Right.
Otherwise, they'd have the original recording.
Yeah, and now with I mean, people use and get passports. If there's any little indication of difference, then you're not going anywhere.
I could see that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That's all I have on the
Thank you.
vital records.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Council Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know we're running short on time, but, and Mr. Clerk, I appreciate the work that you're putting into this.
Thank you, Counselor.
But is this public information? I mean, I'd like to know who took it and those who did not. I mean, it's, you know, the law was enacted in 2009, and I can tell you before you came here, Mr. Clerk, we had to take the training, and I believe it was online, and it was in 2010, and we took it in 2011, and I took it. So if a notice went out, and I thought it was pretty easy to access, quite frankly, and it didn't take that much time. So I'm concerned that we have so many. I mean, you said there's 4,600 employees, and only a little over 200 took it. I mean, that's less than 0.5%. And considering the nature of conflict of interest and ethics violations, I don't know why they haven't taken them.
Yeah, for 2012, it's like I said, it's kind of a little different because of the fact that the state's giving you to April 5th, 2013.
No,
I understand what you're saying.
I understand that, Mr. Clerk,
Yeah.
and I did hear you say that, and the onus to some degree falls on you because you're the custodian, but you can only ask people to do it so many times, and then if they don't, I know there are penalties, but I think that's, knowing that it's still online and they can go on Moodle, I'm concerned that, not much will change. And, I mean, I went on the ethics website, and they got almost 9,000 visitors per month. So I find it hard to understand why apparently many other communities and other municipal and state and county officials are going online and doing it somewhat seamlessly, yet it's not taking place here. And so I think it was mentioned earlier, I forget who mentioned it, but you can only do so much because you don't sign the paychecks, and they don't work for you. So I can understand you saying, look, I can send the email out and I can encourage them and require them to do it, but I need some help somewhere. But I guess my first question, is there any reason why this isn't public information? I mean, I'd say, well, people that don't pay their taxes, that's public information, so.
Yeah, I don't know, I believe the certificates of compliance are public record.
Right.
I don't know whether that would be, I'll check with the city solicitor in terms of who hasn't taken it. We kind of redacted it just giving you employee numbers.
Well, I mean, I would like to know, because
Yeah.
if we took the time to do it and it was easy enough, why hasn't everybody else? So I would like to see that, and
Counsel,
find out
that
why not.
report does not include the 2009, I just wanted to, so that you're not confused.
No,
The
I can-
report that I gave you covers the end part of 2011 and 2012, any new employees. 2009 was kept on a totally different system. It's not attached to their Munis record, so
Okay.
I don't
mean,
want you to think that's been since 2009.
I can appreciate that the new system is going to automate those that took it and those did not, but I think there's still going to be a compliance issue, and I think that we need to put some plan in place. Look, I know where I work. I have to take it every year, and if I don't take it every year, there are penalties, and I mean, I never get to that point, so I don't know what happens, but I just think we need to get a firm hold on this, including the city manager and, the auditor. Those are the three people that work for us to make sure that this is done. There's a reason for this. I mean, Ethics Commission handles, well, last year they handled 4,949 requests for opinion, so people are concerned. On the other hand, we know we have ethics violations here in the city. We've seen them on a number of occasions, and people need to know what to disclose, when to disclose it, and keep things transparent, and keep the public trust in mind when they're making decisions. So I think this is important, and it'll be important to make sure that people are in compliance, and what is, and how are we going to do that, because it needs to be done. I think it's simple. I don't know why it hasn't been done, but I think it's important that we do so.
Thank you. Being after Councilman Johnson.
Just briefly, there was one more item in our packet, the receipts, and it was quite a substantial number, 354,000 in receipts in the calendar year 2012. I would just like it if you could send the council, maybe for next week, if you can get the 2011 total, just the total. Because this one's kind of out of context. I don't know how that compares to previous years.
But 2011, we did it with the previous acting clerk when it was started. It wasn't started at the beginning of the year. I mean, I can get you from where we started it with the previous acting clerk in 2011.
Or maybe the auditor can get that information.
Yeah, she might have the total amount. I just had, because I logged it for this year,
Yeah.
this past year.
I realize it could be a problem because you weren't keeping track of it, but maybe someone like the auditor can provide that number, how much was collected in 2011, just for comparison. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Being after 6:30, I entertain a motion to adjourn for the special meeting. So moved by Council Noon, seconded by Council Lowry. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so voted. We stand adjourned from this meeting.
Thank you, Council.